So I'm the Royal Flying Doctor speech pathologist that services Inglewood and District Health Service and East Wimmera Health Service, which is located across both Buloke and Loddon Shires. I see mainly kids aged 4 and 5, but I'm able to see kids between 0 and 12. Kids come into my clinic room and we play games, we do some talking, we do some listening, but it's all very play-based and really fun.
I have 2 daughters, Amaya who's 4 and Layla who's 2. Amaya has a little bit of trouble pronouncing a few letters, so her B's become D's and S's become F's, all sorts of things like that.
Nate was struggling with his speech and we're very quite concerned, being 2, he's almost 3, and not being able to talk and communicate with us. And then the Royal Flying Doctor Service came to Wedderburn, our local town, and we're so blessed to be able to see Georgia.
It's really important to have a really strong basis for language and communication. So when kids start school, they have a fantastic understanding of, what's going on around them, what's being said to them, how to communicate with their peers and their educators.
It's all about expressing yourself, and for him it was hard. It was very challenging to get his point across to us.
When teachers are talking to us and when teachers are sharing ideas and knowledge, we need to have good expressive and receptive language skills to be able to build our knowledge base and to learn at school. The older we get as children leading into adulthood, we have a greater amount of self-awareness. It can have a real impact on self-confidence. We use our language all the time when we meet people, when we're writing resumes, we're writing applications. The errors that we have in our speech and in our language come through in everything that we do every day. And we don't want to be perceived for our errors, we want to be seen for who we are. Speech pathology is not easy to access across these 2 shires. It's a really vast area, lots and lots of towns. There's a lot of kids here, and it's a service that's been wanted for a really long time and lobbied for a really long time, so it's really exciting for everyone involved.
We were going into Bendigo. There was nothing wrong with the speech pathologist that we saw in Bendigo. She was a lovely lady, but the car ride, the anxiety of the half an hour thinking about what we're going to do, overthinking it.
Boredom. You can only give so many toys, and then, he's thrown that at the front at us. And it's like, I'm over that.
If they're spending an hour and a half in a car to get to the service, and then the speech pathologist is hoping to have, a focus engaged child for that time, that's not always the case. Towns like Bendigo and Swan Hill, they're chunks out of your day to drive to, and even if that was a possibility, there's wait lists. There's big wait lists no matter where you go. So when you're already sort of behind the 8 ball by being in a rural community that doesn't have access to a local service, to join a wait list in a town that's an hour and a half away, not something that people feel they can possibly fit into their lives.
If the flying doctor wasn't here, we may have, just quit speech pathology until she was at school, because she wasn't happy, she was cranky, she was getting angry at us. That's not our daughter, that's not what she does. She doesn't block people out, she's usually really polite. Thinking about shunning it makes you feel guilty that you're doing the wrong thing.
Only 4.5% of speech pathologists work rurally. I always knew that I wanted to come back to work rurally. I was born and raised in the Loddon Shire, so for me it was an easy decision to come back. The job access out here isn't fantastic. I think there's a lot of reasons why people maybe don't consider to come out to rural towns to work, which is a shame because it's where it's needed. It's where it's where the service needs to be.
This year, having Georgia, it's been amazing. We've had someone 5 minutes away. We've seen major improvement in Amaya, just in her confidence. The way Georgia helps her in the way they play games, and they make it so much fun that she just loves it.
The 2 health services that are involved in this program are the Inglewood District Health Service and East Wimmera Health Service, and they came together to form a partnership to sort of have the Royal Flying Doctor Service provide the funding to have this service. Around 45% of the children that were involved in the screening program were identified as possibly benefiting from speech pathology input, and of those 45%, 77% of those kids hadn't received speech pathology yet or weren't aware that speech pathology would benefit their child. The Flying Doctor Speech Therapy Service is entirely donor funded. It's not government funded at all. They are totally reliant on philanthropic funding and donor funding. So it's really important that people are aware of what donations can achieve out in rural communities.
It's so beautiful to be able to have Georgia, and I wouldn't want to change it for anyone else. We want Georgia always, so.
I feel like this service should be everywhere. For any child that needs help, it should be everywhere. all of Victoria, all of Australia. If there's kids out there that need help, we need someone to come to us to help us.
It feels really special to come back to the Loddon Shire and to the Buloke Shire, towns that I grew up in and around and spent a lot of time in, and to be a service provider in those towns now, and to be providing a paediatric service that's been needed and longed for a really long time. I'm very grateful to be the one doing it. I feel really lucky, and I'm really fortunate. I feel really fortunate to have the opportunity to give back to communities that gave so much to me when I was growing up.